Okay, let's move to the first question, okay? The first question, okay, like I said, we are doing transport system in living things, okay? You are supposed to know transport system in plants, in animals, in whatever living things that we teach you. So what are the living things that we have already covered? Okay, so by looking at the questions that appear in your PSLE, prelim, exams, tests, you will know what is being tested. Get it? You know, many of you ask, sure, what is being tested? What's being tested? What's being tested? If you go and see all the tests, you know what is being tested. We are not testing you the textbook. We're testing you the concept that we have taught you. And if you don't know what we have taught you, then you go and see the questions. And when you realize, hey, this question I know how to do, means you learned before. Hey, this question I don't know how to do, which means you must have been taught before, you learned before, but you don't know how to do. Why? Because we're not going to give you Sec 3 questions. We're not going to give you Sec 2 questions. We're going to give you primary 5, 6 questions. So obviously they were taught or in your syllabus somewhere. On that day, you didn't attend school. On that day, your teacher forgot to teach that part. On that day, there was an incident in the classroom where the teacher had to handle and she or he skipped that part. So she said, go home guys and practice and then come back, we will do it tomorrow. You know, these kind of things happen in the classroom. So you may not be able to get the full suite of what you're supposed to know for your PSLE. It's your job, your responsibility to understand what is required by looking at the questions. Come on, looking at the questions. So when we give you questions in 88 tuition, all of them are relatable to your PSLE. All of them will come out, including today's live lesson. So this is how we help you, like telling you these are the things you need to know, babies. Oh, shouldn't call you babies, is it? Teacher Bern will always call you children. Am I right? Children, but I don't call you children. I call you babies, worse than that. All right, you guys can graduate to secondary school, then you all become young adults. Okay, but now you all are children. Okay, soon, very soon. But show me that you guys are young adults by giving me mature answers. Come, let's do. Blood samples are taken from blood vessels, PQRS. You see the diagram, you've got blood vessel P, blood vessel Q. Why? Because blood will be connecting your lungs and your heart through vessels. The blood can't just flow like a river. It has to have tubings. These tubes are called what? Vessels, okay? Where the blood is contained in and can flow, okay? And they flow in different directions, sometimes from the heart to other parts of the body or from other parts of the body to the heart. What does that mean? That means you have vessels going everywhere in your body. If I cut open your body up, you're going to have vessels, but some vessels are going in one direction from heart to maybe your leg, to your hand, to your liver. Then the other one is traveling from your liver back to your heart, carrying the waste materials like carbon dioxide, okay, and so on and so forth. So you need to know which vessels do what work. So in this question, can you tell me what vessels do what work? If you can identify, then you can answer this question. So it's your turn to tell me what's the answer. Which vessel will have most oxygen? It must be going to the other parts of the body from the heart and to the heart from the heart, okay, from the lungs. Lungs is where you take in the most oxygen together with the air. Actually you breathe in air, but oxygen comes in together with it. And so it travels down to heart and then travels down to, this is the most oxygen. Because once this work is done, all the other body parts work already. Now all the waste is carried out. So the system will carry out the waste this way, right? In red color, back up. And this is rich in carbon dioxide. Not to say that there is no oxygen, there is oxygen. So there is oxygen. There is carbon dioxide on both sides, but which one is more? That is what we are trying to talk about. Rich in oxygen rich in carbon dioxide. Why the teacher is confusing us? How come he said both sides have? Because it's actually essentially air. The air will consist of carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, blah, 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 everything the air has. But the concentration of more oxygen will be in the right side and more carbon dioxide will be on the left side. Not to say more than oxygen, but still more. It means you carry more now compared to earlier. So I think the answer is very, very straightforward. So we can talk, the teacher can a bit reduce his low score a bit and start sharing the results. Answer is C, right? Q and R. Am I right? That's what is shown in the diagram, and I'm not wrong, and you're not wrong either. Very, very good. We can move on very quickly. Next. The following shows the human circulatory system. Now, how many systems do you know? I know the very first system is the digestive system that I learned in primary 3 and primary 4. Then I also learned the respiratory system. These are all the systems that are in the body. Of course, there's skeletal, muscular systems. We can write it down below here. Skeletal and muscular. However, they do not involve blood vessel and carrying of blood, okay, so much as respiratory and circulatory. So as you can see from here, you can see all the systems that you need to know I've written down already. And the first three on top involve blood. Blood carrying food, digested food with nutrients to send to all parts of the body. Respiratory, which takes in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. And the circulatory is basically just the vessels, the veins carrying the blood itself. So these three on top work hand in hand together very, very well all the time. Even now, as you are looking at the screen, they are moving. Blood is moving. It is bringing food that has digested since morning, your wonderful breakfast. The good stuff is being transported to your brain, to your hands, to your legs. The bad stuff is being exhaled as carbon dioxide, and waste also going into your wherever you are going to excrete your waste. Of course, the food, also the digestive system already done the work, okay, by separating the good and the bad. Only the good enters the circulatory. So everything that's the circulatory for the food part is good. The bad part already went into the large intestine. Respiratory, the good oxygen-rich air will come in. The lungs will do the job of accepting this oxygen to send it through the blood to the rest of the body, because the heart is the one that has the power to pump. So think of the heart as the pump, because otherwise it does not have enough energy to flow through the entire body. Okay, again, this diagram is there. Which blood vessel contain rich in carbon dioxide? It's just opposite to the question A. So I will just give the answer and move on. No need to participate here. So can we do that? Let's have orange color. I like the orange color in this one. So the one with carbon dioxide will be going back to the heart from other parts of the body. So it's just this. Therefore, it's D and A. Am I right? Okay, that's it. So we spend some time talking about the full picture of digestive, respiratory, circulatory, skeletal, and muscular. But if you see, very often we do not test you skeletal and muscular. Why? Because it's not so complicated. Skeleton is just skeleton. You have bones. You break your bone, you fracture, it repairs itself, it goes on. The blood doesn't go into your bone. Okay, understood? And muscular is the muscles that allow you to perform functions, movements better. If you're stronger, you have better, bigger muscles. Okay, but in order for the muscles to work, then yes, you will need the oxygen supply. You need respiratory system, circulatory system, and all of that, and digestive as well. Why? You don't eat food, you feel weak. Every day you go to school, you eat food first. Your mommy gives you food first because you need energy. So in order to be able to do some work with energy, food seems to be a very important part. Oxygen seems to be a very important part. And these three, digestive, respiratory, and circulatory, seem to be the part that carry out the function of you being able to even be awake. Okay? Awake, meaning you have energy. Okay, let's look at question 3. Same diagram, but Which blood vessel the blood have the greatest increase in the amount of oxygen as it flows? Now, I just changed the question a little bit and you don't know how to do. For example, last 10 minutes I spent doing question 1, question 2, same diagram, but then I just changed a bit in the question in your PSLE this year or next year, and you don't know how to do. Isn't that sad? So you need to know how to do this question, no matter how the question is phrased. You need to be able to figure out in your head, and that's what is a test of a true PSLE primary 6, 12-year-old, 13-year-old student or 11-year-old student. Some of you don't even become 12 yet because your birthday is in December when you do your PSLE, right? So we are testing your ability to be able to process the question, not exactly copy. It's not a question that you've ever seen before. Sometimes it's something you've not seen before. So how do we use knowledge from question 1, question 2, and answer question 3? So this time I'm going to launch the poll. I'm really going to see how well you process this question. Okay, read very carefully. Yeah, read very carefully. Don't give me the wrong answer. Carefully. If you're not sure, take your time. It's tricky. I understand it's tricky. Okay, I have 30 people participated out of 40, 43. I need 10 more participation, 10 more. Think through it, guys. Think through it. Then when I explain to you, you will be enlightened. And this question may save your life in the PSLE this year. Please it's a very interesting question. Even I have not covered too many of this question before. So it's very interesting. That's why you all are struggling. I can even see that many of you are getting the answer wrong. I need at least 5 more people to put in your answer. Come on, you guys are sitting down there, haven't put in your answer. Participate. Once you put in your participation, right, then only you feel responsible for your answer. Then you listen whether you're right or wrong. Don't be afraid to put the wrong answer because your name does not show here who's entering what. It'll just show that extra 5 people put in the answer. So I'm still missing some of you. I think all these 5 people went to the toilet, are not in front of the computer. Okay, that's fine. So the number is not moving, but we can share the result. All right. Now, we can see that the clear winner here is B. Okay, so I'm going to just use some color. Okay. This clear winner here is B. And then A also a little bit. But C and D not so much. So maybe we don't talk about C and D first. Okay, let's talk about, or we can talk about all, okay? Look at the options. Where does the air come in first? Look at the diagram, follow me. If you can follow my explanation, then I will relaunch the poll again. I'm going to relaunch this poll again and see if there's a change in the answers. Okay, so I'm going to record down how many percent. This one is 9 people chose this answer, 17 people chose this answer, 3 people chose this answer. Is it 3? Yeah, 3 and 4. Okay, so this is the first round. First round, this is the result of you guys. So I'm going to stop sharing. So now I'm going to explain. After I explain, I'm going to give you another chance to put in your answer again. We see